what we are all secretly, deeply seeking is true love. So it is outrageous to me that there are people online and offline that don't believe in love, while it is the main thing everyone is searching for. Unconditional love. I even heard people say unconditional love doesn't exist. Everything is conditional in the 3D realm. To the people that are stuck in believing that love isn't real, you are creating that paradigm in your world. So for example, there's a war going on between males and females. Everyone feels taken advantage of. Everyone blames the other opposite. All men are cheaters. All women are cheaters. Women just want your money. Men just want to have sex with you. That's all they want, right? It's a transactional world. Down in the depths of those layers of consciousness, we have the transactional dynamic of user and abuser, victim and abuser consciousness, and they interchange because abusers become victims and victims become abusers because they are two sides of the same coin. So whenever you hear about the labels, about empaths and narcissists, etc., you are stuck in the paradigm, the illusion of the 2D, second dimensional reality on my scale of consciousness that I've shared. If you are stuck in 2D, you believe everything is transactional, and behold, you will only create people in your reality that will confirm your worldview. So when you say, for example, all females are cheaters, you will be attracted to females who are cheaters. Unless you've awakened and you are aware that you don't have to stay in certain paradigms and loops. What I came to realize is the conflict between women and men is very sacred in nature. It is highlighting the split in consciousness, in awareness, the egoic delusion that we call me, I feel, I think. There's this false identity running the show. This false identity needs to be constantly defended, validated, and if it's not validated, there will be an outrage. Rage will be created. In a deep relationship, some people can't go deep into relationship because they are emotionally unavailable. What that means is that you haven't done inner work, you haven't faced your own emotions, and it's not just talking about what happened in your childhood, that talk therapy, it's not that. It's feeling and facing your darkest, deepest fears head on, going there, confronting it, jump towards the fear. That's the only way you can get through the fear, by confronting it head on. So when you go into the fear, always what happens, and I'm talking from experience, when you go into the fear, you realize, what? Was that it? There's nothing, and it was all an illusion. Time and time again, constantly, the same thing happens over again. The anticipation of going to the fear is more painful than actually feeling the fear. You can do inner work. You can just sit 3 hours with one pain point you have in your life, one emotion coming up, and you just sit with it for 3 hours one day, and that will save you 50 years of recreating the same patterns. But we are so afraid to sit with ourselves for a moment that this pattern will recreate your whole reality time and time again, and then you think there's something wrong with you. you're just broken. No, you're not. You just haven't faced yourself yet. And what relationships challenge us to do is, where do we have limiting beliefs that this world is transactional? Where do we have limiting beliefs about people around us? Do we think negatively about people around us? If yes, then you will attract those negative people around you, because everything and anything in creation exists. You get to make up the rules. So when you believe people are bad and greedy, you will attract greedy people in your life, and you will become greedy yourself. That's just the law of how it works. If you believe people are users and you will defend yourself against them, you become a user. That's the cosmic joke that's playing here. And I want to tell you that if people in the 2D paradigm that keep using and abusing each other, and they are never happy, they never feel loved for who they are. They feel used for the resources or what they can give you, but they never feel seen for who they are. And that authentic self always wants to be seen and expressed and loved. That's all humans want. There's nothing else. I'm telling you. They just want to be seen and loved for who they are. But you are already seen and loved by your divine self, which is all that is. You already have all the validation. But that's besides the point I want to make. When you go into the paradigms of transactional living, you are stuck in the 2D, 3D paradigm. You start to notice that people come across you that try to tell you things about how life works. They tell you, okay, men cannot be trusted, be careful with this. Women cannot be trusted, be careful with this. In business, for example, these people cannot be trusted, don't go to this company, XYZ. It's all subscription-based. If you decide to go the route of not trusting life, not trusting your partner, not trusting people, not having faith in people, you will create situations for yourself that confirm that people cannot be trusted, even when the people are completely trustworthy. And I've been on the other end of this, people not trusting me, thinking I'm evil. And then I thought, I know what it's like to be unseen for the love I'm trying to give. But for the people in the 2D, the love giving is seen as a threat, as manipulation, as strings attached, because that's how they are. That's how they are. So if you become entrenched in a paradigm where you are transactional, you just want to use people for their resources, their money, for their labor, for their even just to get validation for your victimhood, get the loosh from them. This creates a kind of guilt in yourself and a shame, because you know you've been looking at those people in a very low value way. You are not seeing them as a soul, as a source, as a divine being. You are seeing them as a monster, as a demon, which makes you feel ashamed and guilty and bad, which in turn makes you act exactly like you project onto those people. So it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy and a cycle. What I want to let you know is that unconditional love is real. As a matter of fact, unconditional love is the only thing that's actually real. All the other stuff in the lower dimensions is an absolute illusion. The transactional things are just a cry for the search for unconditional love. I want to let you know that the unconditional love you're seeking in another person is already within you. It has always been, that love always has been available for you. Also, when you go out in the world and you are in a lower dimension, that means you are in survival mode. Survival mode means victim mode. Not knowing your true nature is torture, it's hell. So out of survival mode, you think you have to manipulate others in order to get your needs met, and then you lower your value Your soul knows when you are lowering your value because you subscribe to survival mode and manipulation tactics. Your soul knows, and it doesn't feel good. Why doesn't it feel good? The not feeling good is because when you subscribe to fear and to victim consciousness, to survival mode, you are in direct opposition of the truth. And the only truth there is unconditional love. So it blows my mind that in those paradigms that people can twist the truth so much that they can convince you that love is not real, while unconditional love is quite literally the fabric of existence itself. Everything is born out of love. Even wanting to survive is born out of love. The love for being alive and wanting to survive, to spread your knowledge, to spread your information. That's an act of love. So even the deepest, darkest people that just want to survive and do horrible things are acting out of love. And if you go higher in perspective, in higher dimensions, you will see things for what they are. You will see everything is unconditional love. And in the 3D, you are challenged to see the opposite. The way consciousness expands is to observe its direct opposite. Observe the opposite, and then you remember who you are. That's the trick. The reason why so many bad things happen, quote unquote bad things happen, is because the bad things are placed here in order to provide contrast. Without the contrast, you can never, never see the pure love that you are. So let's get back to relationships. Relationships are such a sought-after game in the experience of the human life game that many souls, many players opt into creating relationships, personal, intimate relationships. This game is so valuable because it's one of the greatest catalysts in your evolution of consciousness, in your level of awareness. Don't see relationships as a thing to make you happy. Happiness is inherent in just existing. You have value and worth just because you exist. You are pure joy, happiness just because you exist. So let's get that out of the way. When you have an ego, a void, an empty void inside yourself, people often say you have to get into therapy to fill the void or to heal your wounds, right? In order to heal the empty void inside of you, you have to face all the bad programming that has been conditioned into you since childhood. That's the game we're playing. This wounding is what provides the depth of the human experience. This is what it's all about. It's not how many toys you acquire in this game. It's not how much stuff you gather or how much status or how you look. It is purely how much are you able to transmute into love. Are you a powerful alchemist, or will you fail and go into bitterness and anger? Because it's very easy to go into bitterness and anger and victimhood. It's ridiculously easy to blame shift and blame the world for your suffering. But that's a trap and you'll stay stuck. So being accountable and being responsible, meaning having the ability to respond to whatever happens to you, is your power. And if so many ridiculously contrasting things happen in your world that you just think, wow, this is not even real. That happened to me multiple times. This could be a movie. Something interesting happens because I have had those moments where I had a breakthrough. I saw the opposite of love everywhere. I saw pure despair, panic, paranoia, literally like from a movie scene. I kid you not. And then I just started to become quiet, and I knew this is not real. And then everything shifted, everything became love. Because I remembered the contrast that I'm seeing right now is the opposite of my true nature. And with me, I mean every single one of us. That's why you can detach from the 3D and become naturally non-reactive. You become naturally non-reactive to the 3D circumstances once you know that everything is born out of infinite intelligence, infinite love, which is the essence of who you are. You are made of it. You are quite literally it, an expression of it. And once that higher awareness comes in, life may throw you some other contrasting experiences, but you just see through it. It's just an illusion, and it doesn't even affect you anymore. And in face of the most challenging things, you can see, I'm unharmed. No one can ever take who I am away. No one can ever take my purity, my power, my love away, because it's infinite and it's never ending and it's abundant. It's untouchable. I am untouchable. And when you really embody this, there's this calm that comes over you. No one, whatever anyone says, can touch you anymore, because you're not identified with that pain body, with that ego. No circumstance can take you away from this inner knowing. No opinion can sway you from knowing yourself. That you are everything. That you are infinite. And that it doesn't matter what it looks like. Because what the 3D, what everything looks like, is not what it seems. It is never what it seems. There is love underlying everything. There is always love underlying everything. Everyone is naturally going towards being whole. Everything in nature is towards growth and healing. It's just who you are. We have gained a mind so we can challenge nature. And we are free to do that. But it hurts. When we go against our nature and we believe the distorted lies that love isn't real, that everything is conditional and transactional, we are being fooled. Because this is all fear talking, and the ego is separation consciousness. And what you fear the most in an intimate relationship, what you fear the most is being loved for who you are. So you are not able to receive being loved for who you are. Because if you are loved for who you are, authentically, completely, as you are, the ego is out of a job and will cease to exist. And that results in ego death. Many don't get to this realization in romantic relationships because they're too scared to open up. You are afraid to be loved for who you are. Why? Because you have not completely loved yourself for who you are yet. And you have still identified yourself with the world of transaction. No one in their core is really interested in the things. Everyone is interested in feeling that love That amount of love will make you drop any cool toy that the earth gives you. That true feeling of being untouchable, so strong in your true self, will make you drop all your egoic desires all at once. There's no greater bliss and joy than discovering this. So once you had even a small taste of this, you will cease to be interested in accumulating all the egoic props. Because you know all the things that you accumulate, put on yourself, put on your body, enhance, change, do not make you more. And you also realize that nothing can be taken away from you because you're whole and complete. And when you have that realization in a romantic relationship, because you will soon realize that all the things you get externally, including the romantic relationship, will turn into pain because you, for example, fear losing the person, or you fear that the person cheats, or you fear that the person betrays you. It will turn into pain really quickly. It will turn into demands, egoic demands that you can never keep up with. Why? Because the ego expects the other person to make them happy. The ego gives away power because it's a fear entity. The way to turn that around is knowing you are not the ego. Knowing you can disidentify from the patterns. If there's a true connection with the true intention of sharing your life with someone that you care about, for the sake of sharing more joy, more love, enhancing your human experience, for the sake of creating more growth and awareness, this relationship could be your golden opportunity to detach more from the illusion, to transmute your fears very quickly. The ego will fight. It will fight so hard for you to not discover that he is born out of unconditional love. It will fight very hard for you to stop discovering it, so it will do all these mind tricks on you that you really can't trust the person. It's conditional. Look, it's transactional. You're using each other. Look how bad he is or she is. You see, she's just like the others. He is just like the others. They're all cheaters. You can never trust them. They are not capable of love the way you are. All these limiting beliefs. You see that they are incapable, they are worthless. You see, people treat their partners so bad. They judge their partners so bad. Why? Because if you judge yourself harshly, you will project that immediately onto the person that's closest to you. And this is the sad truth. We treat our partners the worst because they get closest to us and they see face to face with our demons. So we hurt the ones we love the most. That's why betrayal comes from the ones we love. Because we have access to their inner world more. So we have access to the contrast more. But when you know this partner of yours is an energetic match, no more, no less, you can learn so much. You can take advantage of the opportunity to expand your consciousness even more and become more untouched by the illusion. If you analyze the behavior in relationships, you see, okay, this person has an emotionally cold mother. That's why he shuts you down, dismisses you, and he expects you to be like that. And then he expects you to be cold and withdrawn, and then he gets attracted to prove his worth to you, to please you. You have all these different patterns that come up. If you have an absent father, for example, you will never feel safe, and you will try to find security in a man. But you will never find security in a man because it's just a pattern. And the only security there is you trusting that life will bring you whatever you need. And it's all pre-orchestrated. And your mother and father are actually life itself, and you're always provided for. It's not in the hands of the mirrors. It's you. You're all that is. So once you embody that, and you have to go through the feelings and the programs in order to fully complete the cycle, you said, okay, I believed I couldn't trust people like this, or I couldn't trust people in general because people are like X, Y, and Z. People have a low awareness, higher awareness. Every type of person exists. When you believe that the person you are with is not trustworthy, you lack trust in your true self, your divine self. And that's where all suffering comes from. Your life will drastically improve once you start trusting in your divine self over your false self. Your true self always has your back, even if you are completely in illusion and ego. Your true self will make sure you are okay. Your true self will never abandon you. Your true self is your mother and father, your true mother and father, not your matrix mother and father. We can see glimpses of the divine mother and father in others, but we have them all within us. Once you know that you are always provided for, life is benevolent and it's a loving creation, you naturally start to encounter contrast of where it isn't the case, because you are being cleaned out. It's like you have activated a cleaning program, and all the things that you don't need have to come to the surface, and you have to feel through them in order to prove to yourself that it is not true. So things happen to you that are difficult. You go in them, you observe, and you can see for yourself how it was all an illusion. And that's the biggest gift. Because someone can tell you from the outside, yeah, it's all an illusion, but it doesn't become real unless you embody that. And it's what inner work is all about. You've created every single circumstance, every person, everything in your life as an energetic match. You even created this video as an energetic match in your reality. And everything comes right in time. Perfect timing, always. Not too soon, not too late. Perfect timing. So once you have faith in your divine self that orchestrates everything, you will surrender. And with you, I mean the small you, the false self. The ego will surrender. Because ego is just a scared, programmed, conditioned little child that's stuck inside your body. That's the inner child that's stuck, waiting to be rescued. And here's the rescue, here's the savior. The savior is you. The savior is your divine self talking to you, telling you everything is okay. You are already safe. You are already whole, complete, and worthy. Because you are me. So then when you step into a relationship, you cannot be manipulated. You cannot be scared. You cannot be taken advantage of, because you are an abundant source of wisdom and love that cannot be touched. Only if you have an ego you can be taken advantage of. Only an ego gets into conflict. Only fear creates the illusion that there's something to be taken. Once you go beyond a certain barrier, you cannot be triggered anymore because you have kind of like a shield, a frequency protection around you. This shield is what makes you discern truth from falsehood. This shield is your protection. This shield is the truth. So your number one priority is the truth. And this truth is as simple as I can make it. It's you are everything, you're infinite intelligence, you're pure love, and that's unconditional. And actually, all of this projection is taking place inside your consciousness. You are everything, this is your world. And it doesn't matter what happens because you are it. And you embrace all the emotions that tell you the opposite. So the emotions will be there for a contrast experience. And then you snap out of it again. And then you remember again. And the more you snap out of it and transmute those emotions into the truth, into the higher level, talking to your inner child to know, this is the truth. Reparenting yourself. That's alchemy. And that all those people outside of you are just your energetic creations that were always helping you for your benefit. And it's not external, it's all you. You are the coder, you are the writer, you are the actor and the actress of your story. You are your partner, you are me. It's that connected, it's that intricate. So once we stop pretending we're separate, maybe we'll feel a bit less alone. Maybe we'll feel a bit less scared. The last thing I want to say is, in this magnificent game of life, it is meant to be spectacular. So it's not a game you take lightly. It's the top games of top games because it feels so real. That's what you say in the game, right? If you are playing a game, you say, wow, it looks so real. This is the same thing, but it looks even more real. And we have mini games inside the mini games. So you get to decide now, what do you value? I value the truth and peace over everything. Because I know there's nothing to gain in attaching to external things. It just becomes a pain-pleasure loop, cycle. We become at ease and in peace, regardless of the circumstances. That's pure freedom. Knowing thyself is pure freedom. And in a relationship, it looks like a lot of communication, talking about the fears and illusions and transmuting them together. That's a very powerful practice. So if you are in an intimate relationship and you desire an intimate relationship, it's not for nothing. An intimate relationship is the best, most intense catalyst you can have. But use it wisely because it can go both ways. It can make you into a more loving person, more soft person. Or it can make you into a bitter person, angry, hard done by person who feels taken advantage of and creates coping mechanisms and becomes a user of people because you have been used. I invite you to go to the route of unconditional love. Because that other thing is just a paradigm. You can shift out of it whenever you want. You can just be loving and forgiving. And it won't make you weak. It won't make you naive. It won't make you foolish or stupid. It will make you the wisest person alive, because you are closer to the truth than staying stuck in a fear paradigm that postures strength, but it's actually weakness, because you don't dare to be authentic. You don't dare to show yourself your scars, your teachings. You don't dare to tell your partner that you have a fear of abandonment, and then you project that on your partner. You don't tell your partner that you actually need validation because your mother never gave you enough validation. You don't tell your partner that you actually are so afraid that you seek safety in your partner instead of seeking safety in yourself. If you would just tell your partner your fears, then you can both tell the truth about it.